Hello, good morning, Ria from Maisie Moo. I am about to show you how to put together this new flexi frame bag or purse. Now this uses the same flex frames as what I made the flex frame purses from that you may have recently seen on my website or Facebook page. They are 10 centimetre flex frames. Now I had the idea of creating a coffin. I had a bit of a struggle with this, just designing it to make it look right, because it kind of was coming out a bit wonky, and obviously it's quite a bit different in size. The actual frame's the same, but obviously the shape of a coffin is a little bit fatter in the middle. So this is kind of turned into a bit more of a larger purse or a bag. So it's the whole concept is the same. It opens and closes by squeezing. So there we go. Opens and closes. And what you will get is a couple of options with this. I've decorated this one with a skull. Flip it over. You're also going to have a wee happy ghost. You'll have two side tabs that you can choose to use or not, and there's actually going to be two different sizes. So I've got a larger size and then I've got like a smaller size, because you could, if you wanted to, have this held together by cord or rope. Okay, so let's get started and I'll show you how I put it together. Okay, so what do we need to make this purse? You are going to need to cut out two sides of your coffin. You have choices with this, so you're going to be able to cut out one side where you can have your pretty skull, pink skull there, and you've also got the option of the wee ghost. You can see these holes still have to be plucked out. You can just squeeze them, you see, like that, and they come out. So now any settings for cutting out these holes are included in the instructions. And there we go. They pop out really easily. It's quite therapeutic doing it actually. Look, two more there. Okay, so I'm going to make this one today with the ghost on one side and the skull on the other side. And then also you've got the option, because I'm giving you a plain one, of just making a plain side too, so you could actually use some fun faux, something Halloweeny. And I've also got optional tags for the sides. If you don't want to use it as just a purse as it is, you can pop these anywhere along here and you can make it into a little bag. So might even do that one today. Okay, so the whole idea of this purse is that it is a flexi purse, and if you're a follower of Maisie Moo, you'll have possibly purchased and made the little flexi pouches that came out about a month or so ago, and I used a 10 centimetre, I'll put the link in there for where I got these from, 10 centimetre flex frames. And how they work is you attach a little, you can see there, got a little hole, you attach this little rod here through, but we'll get to that later. Okay, so let's get stitching. Now this took me a while to design this one. It was one of those ones where you have an idea and it took a while for it to come together. So what you're going to be needing is your embroidery floss or wax cord, whatever you prefer. I know some of you prefer using the wax cord, and that's fine. I just go with embroidery because it's a bit more beginner friendly, and we're just doing our normal straight stitching. Before we do get started though, what I am going to do is, here we go, just quickly show you how you need to thread your needle. Okay, so you want to thread your needle. I'm using white at the moment, and I'll explain what I'm going to be doing in a moment. You want a nice big knot so that it doesn't pull through your holes. Let's pop that to the side. We'll pop the ghost to the side. So now I'm not sure if you can see the holes here or not, but I am going to be stitching around the edge of my coffin in white. It's going to sort of give it a bit of a frame effect, and here we go. And it will also hopefully sort of hide the fact that you've got the flex frame behind, because how it works is you're going to make a little It's like a little tube, and that's where your flex frame is going to sit in. So what I'm going to do first is I'm sort of going to, they're going to be, I suppose you'd call them, they're not stitching anything together, they're just decorative stitches. So you're going to do this on both sides. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start from underneath here. And all I'm going to be doing is stitching we go. This is just what we call a straight stitch, and then I come back again and I'll be doing a solid stitch, and I'll end up where you start. So I'll come around here. Now so you can see I've got 2 stitches there. Can you see that? So I've come here, and then all I'm going to do is come back again. This will all make sense as we sort of get a little bit further along. Okay, so you can see I've stitched up, across and down, and then all I'm going to do is inside here, I just want to tie that off, just do a quick knot. There we go. Now remember, you can always, if you want to, reinforce your knots with a little bit of super glue, and I'm going to do exactly the same to the other side. Okay, so now you can see I've stitched the 2 dummy stitches at the top. I have already gone ahead and stitched on our little ghost. It's really cute. And you may wish to put a bit of faux leather behind if you're wanting a different colour coming through for its eyes. You could even put a little bow or something on that. Now we've got the skull, so I'm going to just start on the side, and all we're going to do is stitch around the edge. So go. I've been round once, and now I'm just going to head back round again to create a solid stitch. Okay, so you can see I've come up to my last stitch, and I'm going to just take it through the back, and then all I'm going to do is just create a little knot. Now, something of note with these bags, obviously there is no lining. Now, if you are proficient or you're able to use a sewing machine, you could easily use this template to create a lining, and then all you would do is, if you were cutting it out on, let's say, cotton fabric, same size as this, you want to go around with your sewing machine, leaving the top open, and then what you would do is, when we are about to sew, we're going to be sewing our tube at the top here, you would just have your lining tucked in underneath there when you sew across. But you don't have to do that. All I think you need to do is if you just add a little touch of glue to that so it doesn't catch if you're putting things in and out of your bag, and as long as you've tied this off nice and tightly, it shouldn't matter, because you're not going to see it. It's all inside. There we go. Okay, so we've got our skull and we have got our ghost. So let's get on to sewing the tube part. Now the idea with this is I don't really want to see these stitches, so we're going to do them in black. They obviously will show a little bit, but what you want to be seeing is just your white border around the edge of your coffin. So let's see how this works out. Let's get our thread. Okay, so we're starting inside, so you want to be inside your, near the middle. I'm going to trim that. Now we're folding the top over, and you just want to find the next hole. There we go. So it's hard to see the stitching because it is black on black, but I've got one last stitch at the front and I'm going to come through the back here. Then all I want to do is just sort of pass it there. Right, so we've come out the bottom, and all I want to sort of do is pass through a couple of those stitches and then knot that so it holds, okay? And then what we'll do is just tuck it in underneath. There we go. Again, if you want to just put a tiny little bit of super glue gel there, Loctite always works well. Okay, so we've done this one, and I'm going to go ahead and do this one here. There we go. So we've got our two tubes. All that's left to do now is sew this together. So what we'll do is we'll get our white thread. I've got a generous length of about, let's move all of this over there. We've finished with the black. About 2 meters, so I will try and see if that's enough. Sometimes it's easier to just do shorter lengths and tie it off and then restart, but I will make a note. There we go. So we've got that all lined up, and I'm going to start at the base because any knots or anything can just be hidden right at the very bottom. Tuck that in and get stitching. Okay, so you can see we've stitched up. Now, it depends on how you plan on using your purse. You could just have it as a purse and keep it plain, but I'm actually going to make mine into a bag. So I've got these little tags here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a D-ring. So that what I can then do is attach, there we go, so we're going to pop that there so you can see you've got your little D-ring. So then I can attach a chain or a strap to the D-rings. You've also got the option of using some cord, and you can just pop it through and tie a knot. But I'm going to just go through and attach this with the D-rings. Come up one more. think that will work fine. So we're going to go through the holes in the tab and then the back. That's it. Line it back up again. There we go. I've actually included 2 size tabs for you. So you've got this one here, which is a little bit longer, and then this one here is just a wee bit shorter. So if you did decide to use a cord, you've got a little bit of a tighter kind of circle there. So depending on how you want to finish your bag or how you want to create your purse, depends on what tags you use. So, oops. So we're coming up to the last stitch at the top. Okay, so we've gone through that last stitch, and I'm just going to come all the way back around, attach that strap, and then come back down to the bottom there. So I'll meet you back down there. Alright, so we're getting to the end now. We've got one more stitch on this side. So we've got the one last stitch there, so you can see we've come all the way around. Flip it over and you can see I've got one more stitch to go here, and I'm going to bring my needle out between the 2 layers. Here we go. And what I want to do is just pass it through a couple of stitches so it creates a loop. Like that. Then I'm going to go back through. And then there's your loop there. I want to take my needle through that loop and give it a tug. And when I pull that, you can actually feel the resistance. It's nice and tight and it creates a knot. All you do is give it a trim and then tuck that back into the body of your wee bag. And there we go, we have it. We have completed all of the sewing, and I'm really pleased with how that's turned out. One thing I might change though is this wee ghost might just get shimmied down a little bit because I think he needs to be centered more, but that's fine. So the last thing we need to do, or the second to last thing we need to do, is to insert your flex frame. So we've made our 2 tubes. You can see we've made our 2 tubes there. What we want to do is very gently, and the thing is with this, it's a bit annoying because you have this little bit that sticks up there. If you can see that bit there that sticks up, that can sometimes get caught. So if you want to, you can fold it down and then bring it back up again, but we'll give it a go without it. So we're going to stick both ends at the same time, and then you just want to kind of tap it down. There we go, pushing that along. Now can you see that that's joined together? Now it's hard with this one to see because like with the other, this is the other kiss clasp, the other flexi clasp, you can see the ends, they stick out. The way I've designed this is so it's kind of hidden, which means it's hard for you to see what I've done. So we're going to just see if we can push that. If I push that up, there we go. So your 2 ends need to push that along, squeeze together. Can you see that? You've got them squeezed together. And then all you do is you get your rod, you push it down using pliers or anything that you've got to hand. You just want to press it down. There we go. Look at that. That's really cool. I'm so pleased with that. So we've got our flex frame, we've got our 2 D-rings here, so we're going to attach. I've got, this has come off the end, so I'll just reattach the other end. Rightio, we're all done. So that is the Flexi Frame Coffin purse. I might come up with a catchier name than that. If you have any questions or you need any help, remember to reach out. I'm looking forward to these ones popping up over the next few months. Happy creating. Thanks for watching. Bye.